up there in the stage. So you सारे areas हैं cooperation की SSCP, I am in a business, एक डायरेक्टर चेंज करना पड़ जाए नाक से खून निकल पड़ता है. So जब आप हमारी इंफॉर्मेशन हमसे लेंगे नहीं तो इनको कैसे मिलेगी? So we need an outlook, new outlook, जिसमें SSCP involved है, जिसमें banking sector involved है, और somebody said a very important, जितने crime होते हैं, they end up with a transaction. All the crimes, human, whatever, जो भी आप सोच सकते हैं, they end up with a transaction. So I think as this forum, as industry, as people, need to find a new outlook, a new solution to our problems. We need more collaboration than competition. Thank you very much.
I think we couldn't agree more. I think yes, a lot of collaboration is needed. There is some already, by the way. In fact, through the Pakistan Banks Association, the banking sector does collaborate. The State Bank also assists, yes, but I would agree with the gentleman here, and a lot needs to be done. So there is no disagreement whatsoever. Any other question, please?
Assalamualaikum. My name is Salim Tumani from Mizan Bank. My question is to all the eminent panel regarding the recent framework issued by the State Bank of Pakistan. Basically, what we have facing currently is the pricing, as just Arif Saab also said, the determination of pricing or the fair price value. Is it possible, or we can say that कि अगर हम कस्टम को इसमें इन्वॉल्व करें और अगर वीबॉक के अंदर अगर हम प्राइसिंग का मैकेनिज्म, क्योंकि कस्टम इज़ द बॉडी हु एसेस द वैल्यूज़, तो अगर उसको हम उसमें इन्वॉल्व कर दें तो उससे हमारे लिए फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए काफ़ी ईज होगी टू डिटरमिन द प्राइसेस, रादर देन वी आर फेसिंग विद द कस्टमर्स एंड टू एंड फ्रॉम होता रहेगा कि वो कहेंगे कि इतने की वैल्यू है, हम कहते हैं इतने की वैल्यू बनती है, एंड देन द इंटरनेट जो हम गूगल सर्च करते हैं उसमें हमें जो प्राइसिंग मिलती है वो बेसिकली अगर हम अली बाबा को सर्च करते हैं तो वो चाइना की मेजर आपको प्राइसिंग देते हैं. हमें अगर लेट्स से वो इन्वेंट्री वो जर्मनी या यूएस से आ रही है तो वो चीज़ें फिर हमें बड़ी मुश्किल होती है एज ए बैंकर टू डिटरमिन द प्राइस. तो इज इट पॉसिबल अगर और द एमिनेंट
that is an area that we are already working on. As you're already aware, that was State Bank that began the integration process with VBOC. In fact, the entire trade, both imports and exports, was initiated. It was a State Bank initiative some years back, and the custom authorities cooperated, and the rest is, as you can see. But yes, the time has come where we need to upload the data of prices as well. So we are in some discussion with the custom authorities. There are some technical issues, and our Foreign Exchange Operations Department is already on it. This is a very valid suggestion. But I would suggest that there are some institutions, as far as I know, have started to develop their own databases. But I'd like to see some collaboration, just like the gentleman just before you said that you need to talk to each other. So these are the kind of forums, State Bank provides you that forum as well, so this is a private sector forum. But anyway, you have the Pakistan Banks Association. These are the subjects that should be discussed there. And I'm a great fan of collaboration. And, the entire State Bank of Pakistan makes sure that you collaborate with each other. And if you look at our payment system strategy, if you look at the trade-based money laundering regulations, this is exactly what we are recommending. Please talk to each other, share data, share information. And the banking companies ordinance allows that. There is absolutely no bar. So it's not personal information anyway. And even personal information can be shared as long as it is customary among yourselves. So please do that, talk to each other.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mujahid Balim from State Bank. मैं कमर्शियल बैंक में भी जॉब कर चुका हूँ. तो एक ऑब्जर्वेशन है और फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए सजेशन है. जैसा कि आमिर साहब ने बयान किया कि माइंड सेट को चेंज करने वाली बात है और लोअर ग्राउंड पे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है इसकी. तो एक सजेशन है, क्योंकि बैंक्स के दो विंग्स होते हैं या फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन के, एक बिजनेस साइड होता है, एक ऑपरेशन साइड होता है. जो बिजनेस साइड के लोग होते हैं उनको उमूमन इंसेंटिव्स ज़्यादा प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं एज़ कम्पेयर टू ऑपरेशन साइड पे जो लोग काम कर रहे होते हैं. और वहाँ पर एक जो डिस्टेंस है इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स पाया जाता है, और वहाँ पर जाके जो ऑपरेशंस के लोग होते हैं वो कंप्लाइंस को ज़्यादा देख रहे होते हैं और वो कंप्रोमाइज़ कर जाते हैं कंप्लाइंस के, क्योंकि बिजनेस के साथ वो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी की तरफ देखते हैं और कंप्लाइंस के कोऑपरेशंस के। तो जो ये जस्टिफाई किया जाए उन इंसेंटिव्स को, और मेरे ख्याल में तो इक्वल होना चाहिए, क्योंकि ऑपरेशंस के लोग आपके बिजनेस को सपोर्ट कर रहे होते हैं, तो इनको पार्टनर की हैसियत से काम करना चाहिए, ना कि इनको दो मुख्तलिफ कैटेगरी में काम। तो ये इस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है बैंकों को, क्योंकि मैं इसको काफ़ी अरसे से ऑब्जर्व करता रहा। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much. Just a minute. In fact, you would be pleased to know that in ABL, we have the, equal performance indicator for both the segments. So operational people are, taking the same kind of weightages for the performance bonus as at in the businesses. So we are equally, distributing the bonuses to all the segments.
Let me add.
नहीं, मैं सिर्फ ये कहूँगा कि आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है। दिस इज़ अ चैलेंज दैट मोस्ट इंस्टीट्यूशंस और द इंडस्ट्री फेसेस। लेकिन अब स्टेट बैंक का जो नया ये आया है मटेरियल रिस्क टेकर और मटेरियल रिस्क कंट्रोलर, उसमें ये काफ़ी हद तक चीज़ एड्रेस हो जाएगी। देयर विल बी अ लॉट मोर वेटेज गिवन टू द सपोर्ट फंक्शंस एज वेल।
Yeah, just quick one, what we are doing at Bank Islami, and we identified that. So now we have an incentive for doing KYC and AML and DD, and there is a carrot, and actually the incentive is in cash terms for doing it right. And if you don't do it right, there is a penalty on both operational staff and business staff. And as far as the business related incentives were concerned, we have changed it. Now our incentives are branch driven. So if there is an incentive, say 250,000 rupees for a branch, then it's distributed among all branch business staff and operations staff according to a formula and through a certain discretion. So we have integrated that. And probably I would say, I'm not sure if any other bank is incentivizing for doing KYC and DD right, but we are doing it.
Thank you. I would like to thank the panelists. I think I've concluded, I've wrapped
one
up
question.
whatever. I say thank you so much, all of you coming.
Thank you. So thank you so much, all of you. You all may take your seats. Your mementos will be presented to you on your seats due to the shortage of time. I hope our audience has enjoyed the wonderful and healthy discussion took place here among our industry experts. Now, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Irfan Siddiqui, President Bizan Bank, to present the digital Quran to Mr. Jameel Ahmed, Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan. So please join us here on the stage. Thank you so much. You may take your seats. Proceeding further, I'm honored to request our prestigious speaker, Syed Irfan Ali, Executive Director, Banking Policy and Regulations Group, State Bank of Pakistan, to grace the stage with his appearance and give an insightful presentation on Pakistan FATF Way Forward, the next transformation wave. He'll be here shortly. Okay, I would like to invite on stage our prestigious speaker, Syed Irfan Ali, Executive Director, Banking Policy and Regulations Group, State Bank of Pakistan, to grace the stage with his appearance and give an insightful presentation on Pakistan FATF Way Forward, the next transformation wave. My cherished audience, please give him a warm welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I guess you guys haven't had enough of me, but I'll be a presentation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And thank you for waiting for me for a few minutes. And I rather find it at times difficult standing on the podium, but I'll try it because I guess we are spread all over the hall, and so I'd like to have eye contact with each one of you, but yeah, okay, I'll do that. Okay, thank you. At times, a few years back, I used to hear the term, Yusuf sir, and that term was that the only constant is change. And at that time, we used to struggle as to what does this term exactly mean, and you know, और उसके ऊपर काफ़ी सारे शेर भी कहे जाते थे, you know, जिसमें एक term थी जबरे मुसलसल, or you know, so the concept of, you know, jabr musalsal, or you know, constant, so the compliance itself is kind of a jabr musalsal, you know. It is something that has to be done, that has to be implemented, that has to be understood, that has to be exercised, that has to be propagated, that has to be shared, that has to be disseminated. So whatever language that you guys may like to add, yeah, compliance is part of our lives. And now, if you, just taking you a few days back, ladies and gentlemen, if you recall, there was a declaration by the US Department of Treasury on the Human Rights Day. And on the Human Rights Day, the US Department of Treasury, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, designated a few individuals. And one of the individuals was a Slovakian who had perpetrated a financial tax crime. And not only did that, and he made millions of euros doing that, but he also was a major instigator of killing the journalist who was investigating his crimes. So here's a person who is a Slovakian and is a very well-known person. If you go to the US Department of Treasury's website, they have designated that individual along with 17 others, where the crimes perpetrated by that individual are very much evident and for all to see. And he not only siphoned millions of euros, he killed a journalist. While those designations are not UN designations, but they do give you an indication as to where the world is moving. So when we talk about the ease of doing business, for example, or the way you conduct your financial business, remember the world is looking at you. That is the first part. The world is looking at you. You are under a microscope. And the world is not only looking at you, Pakistan, but the world, the FATF fraternity has placed you on the grey list. And you were placed on the grey list because of some weaknesses that were highlighted. And that is why you are on the FATF action plan. So, are we as a country interested in addressing those weaknesses? So, the financial sector is just part of the entire financial action task force plan. Now, having said that, regulators, that is State Bank, SECP, have joined together, but it's not only the regulators, it is NACTA, National Counter-Terrorism Authority, the Counter-Terrorism Departments, Ministry of Interior, then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who issues the SROs for placing the designated individuals on the block list or their assets are frozen. So it is not only the bank accounts that get frozen, it is the assets of the terrorists that also get frozen. And not only that, it is the affiliates who also get the flag, and you, the regulators, you the financial sector, make sure that they become part of your domain. Now, the world, the FATF action plan has raised some very fundamental questions. And the first question that had to be answered was that, do we understand risk? Now, that's a fundamental question, and that question is raised to both the regulator and to the regulators as to do we understand risk, and if we do understand risk, is that part and parcel of our supervisory mechanism, and is it part of the risk-based assessment framework of the financial institutions? So is that a fact? Is that something that is very well understood to us? Now, most of the industry will bear with us that we have made, sir, excuse me, sir, if somebody talks on the phone in the middle of a presentation, that doesn't help. I'll kindly bear with me, it will allow me to concentrate, and I'll be able to do a better presentation than I'm doing right now. Now, if we understand risk, that means we can disseminate the instructions down the line as well. Now, what does risk primarily mean? Is it geographical risk? Is it a risk that is district-wise? Is it technology risk? Is it really the vulnerabilities of the financial sector? Is that what we are talking about? Yes, I guess we are talking about each one of them. Now, Pakistan faces these risks primarily emanating from the geographical risks. Remember, we are bordering with Afghanistan. So what does that mean? That means that about 100,000 plus Afghanis come into Pakistan every day. And some months back, they were coming into Pakistan with no documents, with no visa restrictions whatsoever. One. We have a border with Iran, and as you are aware, Iran is a designated country as a whole, and a number of institutions. So you guys don't touch Iran, but some informal trade does go on between Iran. And not only that, you have bank branches located in Quetta, in Peshawar, in Chaman, in Dalbandin. So your risk level changes as your branch levels change. And then, other than the cross-border trade that takes place between Pakistan, you are, as a country, You have about $50 billion imports. It is coming down. It used to be $60 billion. But you have $50 billion imports, Yusuf, isn't it? You have about $24 billion of exports. You have $22 billion of foreign remittances coming in. So the transnational risk part, that is one part of the Financial Action Task Force mandate that we have exists as far as flow of money into and outside Pakistan is concerned. So there is a likelihood of terrorists and money laundering using money to bring in Pakistan or use the system to take money out of Pakistan. Now, if that is done, that places Pakistan on a high risk category. And if we do not have mitigation measures in place, we will be left with a very high residual risk status that will escalate the level of risk, and the probability of our removal from the FATF grey list would be minimal. So it is important. So that is what State Bank of Pakistan embarked on. We improved our understanding of risk. We improved your understanding of risk. Then we brought in mitigation measures, and that brought down the inherent risk to the residual risk status, and that is what we are primarily talking about. If you recall, the last session that I had, I gave an example of, but most of you wouldn't be there, but of Justice Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab. Justice Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab, Irfan Sahab, was the Chief Justice of Pakistan, and he was only 4 feet 8 inches tall. Justice Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab. He's unfortunately died. Now, Justice Sahab, when he was a lawyer, he used to appear before the judge. And once he appeared before the judge in the Lahore High Court, he came up and said, and he was standing next to the podium, so the judge couldn't see him. He said, "Sir, Shah Sahab, will you please stand up?" Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab was 4 feet 8 inches tall, so he said, so he responded to the judge and said, "Sir, I'm already standing up." Then the judge said, "Mr. Naseem Hasan Shah, please stand on the bench." Shah Sahab said, "Sir, I'm also standing on the bench." So now the objective primarily is that this is what we are trying to tell the FATF body, the joint group, that they've asked us to stand on the bench, they've asked us to stand up, so we are standing up. They asked us to stand on the bench, so we are standing on the bench. In fact, we have further demonstrated. If you understand this terminology, the intended outcome, the FATF 40 recommendations, but here we are not only talking about technical compliance, we are talking about effectiveness. How effective we are in disseminating the message of risk, the message of understanding terrorist financing, the message of understanding transnationality of risk, the message of having mitigation measures in place, and the message of having the right residual risks which help the financial institution to achieve compliance. So that is the primary objective. Now, two is the outreach, and I'd like to give you a quote here of Martin Luther King. By the way, Martin Luther King was a human rights activist. He fought for the rights of the blacks in the 50s and 60s before he was assassinated. He also won the Nobel Peace Prize, I think in 1964. Now he said, I think बहुत ही अहम बात की थी उसने. I think one of his famous quotes, he has a lot of good quotes. He said that this world has not suffered at the hands of evildoers as much at the hands of those who saw that evil was going on and did nothing to stop it. So evil is going on, and financial crime is evil, isn't it? So you don't have to be a cleric, you don't have to be a member of the Baptist church, or you don't have to be an atheist, you don't have to be a Muslim, Christian, or a Jew or a Hindu, but the fundamental is that the financial sector is being used to perpetrate crime. which you knowingly or unknowingly are a party to. Now, if you are knowingly doing that, that is what fraud is all about. And if you are unknowingly doing that, that means you do not have the systems and procedures to address financial crime. Now, financial crime takes a number of shapes. It's used to finance terror, isn't it? So if your bank, God forbid, is used by a terrorist, you are not only placing yourself at risk, you are placing the society at risk. Isn't that true? I specifically refer to the terrorist financing policies